Okay, today we will see a concept called as serialization, and that concept serialization is supported to you by the interface called as serializable. So here clearly understand serialization is a concept. Okay, and Java library gives you the support for this concept with the help of the interface called as serializable. So that's how Java goes on giving you support for all your programming problems. Okay, so first we have to understand what is serialization. So once you understand serialization, then you'll understand what is interface serializable and how it supports it. So that's how it goes now. So first of all, serialization is a process of converting state of an object to byte string. That's what you have to understand. It's a process of converting state of an object to byte string. Then after serialization, we do one more thing called as deserialization. Understood? Deserialization is a process of reconstructing a new object or restoring the bytes into values from the byte string. Deserialization is the reverse process of serialization. So these are definitions. So let's understand the concept of what is serialization, deserialization, and then you'll understand the role played by the interface serializable to support that. Okay, so let me draw a diagram now for making you understand what is serialization and deserialization. See, serialization and deserialization is mainly done for three reasons. Is mainly done for three reasons. Yeah, three reasons means we just now wrote the definition. Okay, serialization is a process of converting the state of an object to bytes. We just now wrote the definition. But why do you do it? Question comes out. Okay, so the first reason why you do serialization is for persistence. Second reason why you do serialization would be communication. And the third reason why you do serialization would be copying. So these are the three reasons why you do serialization. So let us see with the diagram now, and then you'll clearly understand why you do this. Is this clear now? Why you do serialization? Okay. So it is done mainly for three reasons. Write this down. Persistence, communication, and copying. Copying it is. Okay, fine then. Next. So let's see your diagram now. See, generally if I have a class called as A, it might have three instance variables: int x, int y, int z. And I can initialize this with the help of a constructor. So this is a class. Understood? You can have methods and all that. That is okay. So now see what happens. Generally, once you have a class, obviously what are you going to do? You're going to create object. A1 is equal to new A of 10, 20, 30. So A1 object has the state of what? 10, 20, 30. It's having a state. State means values. Okay. And these values are stored in the instance variables. So instance variables always holds what? State of the object. Instance variables are always holding the state of the object. You should be very good in Java for this. Understood? So then next, A2 is equal to new A. So I'll have 5, 6, 7. Now the state of A2 is what? 5, 6, 7. Means an object gets created and they'll have the state. So this is generally what happens when you create an object. Now what we are going to do is the state of this object will convert into what? Byte stream. That's what I'm trying to say. The state of this object will be converted into byte stream. And why it will be done? Same three reasons. Serialization for what? 1 for persistence, 2 for communication, 3 for copying. These are the three reasons why you do it. Okay, let's see it with the diagram only now. See, as soon as I create an object, this is the object which gets created now. So X, Y, Z will have a value of 10, 20, 30. I'll take only one object, A1. As soon as I create the object, this object gets created in the JVM. Now this is JVM for you now. So this is one JVM. So once the object is created, then what we do? We do something called as serialization. So once you serialize, the thing what you get is something called as byte stream. 10, 10, 10, you get this. Understood? So the state of the object will be returned to one stream, and that stream is called as byte stream. Understood? So after doing serialization, next what are you going to do? Yes, same three things. Persistence. Yes. So the first thing now, what you will do? You can write to a file. Just use the red marker. The first thing what you'll be doing is persistence. Is it visible now? Persistence, or I write it in black marker. So the same state will be written where? To the file. Understood? So persistence means saving to file. Understood? So persistence means saving to file. Another reason why you'll be serializing this is, see, this is a big subject which you'll be slowly understanding later. Okay, see, there'll be one more JVM now. This is one JVM what you're saving. Okay, there's a concept called as remote method invocation, RMI. There's a concept called as RMI, remote method invocation. RMI means remote method invocation. Till now you are calling methods in local JVM. Yes or no? See, I am creating an object A is equal to new A dot M1. M1 is executing where? In the local JVM. But later on there is a subject called as remote method invocation. That A object will be in one JVM and that M1 method will be invoked from another JVM. Understood? A object will be in, this is JVM 1 now and this will be JVM 2. Understood? Like that. Okay. Or here you will be having on hello object. Okay. And that hello object might have one fun method. That fun method will be invoked in what? This particular JVM. So obviously when you invoke a method, what will happen now? Generally, see, always when you invoke a method, the tendency is what is the tendency? The methods contain logic, and if you want to execute the logic, you send arguments. Yes or no? So now I want to send, see, there's an object called as hello here. There's an object called as hello and it is having on some method called as fun, but it requires an argument of type what? A. It requires an argument of type A. So you'll invoke it from this machine. How will you invoke? Somehow you'll invoke it h.m1 and send this argument now. This A1 object you'll send. So this object, what happened now? It will start moving via network now. And it will come here. Understood? Means you got a object. Second. You got a object. Okay. So here it will come. This is H object for you. So it will get deserialized. See, it will come now. Same object will come now. 10, 10, 10 and all it will come. Content will be same. Then it will be second deserialized. Once it is deserialized, you will have the same object. A value will be what? X, Y, Z. Values will be 10, 20, 30. So this is a very big concept, terrific concept, and the address of this object will be given to what? This A. So the idea is what? You wanted to send A object from one JVM to another JVM. Till now you have done call by reference. You are sending A object from one method to another method, but the other method was what? Local JVM. But later on you will see that the same A object will be sent to what? To another JVM. Understood? And this looks like a very big subject, but nothing to worry, because Java's library is giving you brilliant support for all this. Hardly you do is write 2 lines of code there. Just you will say h.m1 and the value will be sent. Means you will do something like this, naming.lookup, something like that is there. But once you get the reference to that object of h, what you will do? You will call it h.m1 and it will be invoked. So when you invoke it, what happens? This serialized object is there now. It starts moving via network now. Because see, object cannot move via network. Object is memory. Can memory move via network? Memory cannot move via network. So what you do? You'll convert it into byte stream 1010, and that will be pushed through the network. Those values 1010 stream is there now. This byte stream. Object cannot move. So what we'll do? We'll convert that into byte stream, and that will be pushed via the network. Okay. So and once it moves via network, it will reach here. So in the this is called as client program, and this is called as server. So the server will receive that stream. It will receive it. Once it receives, what is the stream of type? Serialized thing only. Okay. So this serialized stream, what you will do? You will deserialize it. Once you deserialize, what you will get? Object. And that A will be referring to this. Understood? So end of the day, what was my intention? I wanted to send the values of 10, 20, 30 from one JVM to another JVM. That's all. My intention was simple. I wanted to send the values of 10, 20, 30 from one JVM to another JVM. All I did is I serialized it and sent it. So understand the concept and how Java supports it, you will only understand. Understood? So this is one concept. So why do you do serialization? 2 for communication. Means for moving via network. For sending objects via network. Are you clear with this? See, these are two things are very, very important. The first two things, which are persistence and communication, is very, very important. This is extensively used when we develop applications. Extensively used. Just understand the concept. Okay, so these are your programming requirements you will get, and Java gives you immense support to this. Are you clear with this now? Is the diagram clear? Okay, so then next, two things over now. First is persistence, saving to file. Second one is what? For sending objects via network. Understood? The third thing would be, see here only, you will deserialize. This will be something like one more object, something like Z, or I'll name it as, one more new object, A, X, Y, Z, the values will be 10, 20, 30. So this is what? Copying. Third one would be copying. Copying means creating a duplicate object. Creating a duplicate object. You can take this as one more new object. It's of type A. Okay, just here I use the variable by name A1. This is another object, or I can name it as A2. But don't confuse this for this A2. Remove that. Understood? Don't confuse that for that A2. Just I'll remove this. Just explained initially. So you're creating what? One more new object. Again, if you want, you can convert one more, create one more object. A3. So X, Y, Z. It's something like cloning, man. You're having an object, and after that you can go on creating what? Any number of objects. A1 is there. Now I will create A2, A3 by like this. So I'll go on deserializing and creating duplicate objects like this. Understood? Huh? Okay. So these are the three reasons. First reason is persistence. Means you'll serialize it. See, I have said serialized. And then what did I do? Persistence. Then after serializing, what did I do? Communication. Okay. This is second one. Third one is you'll deserialize and start copying it. Are you clear with this now? Okay. So this duplicate object I'll remove it, or you can return it, no problem. Anyway. Are you clear with this diagram? So first two are very important. Third one very rarely we do it, but the first two are very, very important. I show you the first one now. After serializing, what you'll be doing? Writing it to byte stream. So terrific concept. Now what I'll be doing? I'll be creating an object now. See the concept, you understand what big it is, and hardly you'll be writing what? 2-3 lines of code, not more than that. Java's library gives you the support. So I'll be creating an object that I'll convert it to what? Byte stream. And after converting to byte stream, I'll save that state into what? A file. Understood? So now see, you're working with input output and as well as file. Big subject. So this concept I'll be teaching you first, then I'll be explaining communication again in depth, then I'll come to copying. This is the process I'll be taking. Yeah? Shall I clear all this now? So straight away I'll start off with an example coding now. Clear now? Yeah. So the programs examples for this would be, okay, I'd be keeping it in computer D drive, Ravi Kumar folder. Okay, core Java. In core Java, there'll be Eclipse programs. In Eclipse programs, I got the serialization. This is the folder structure. Understood? So in serialization, there are already examples. That the serialization is the workspace now. Serialization is the workspace. In that workspace, I am having what? Examples. So open it. Fine. So what I'll do is the first program I'll only code and show it for you. See, new Java project. Understood? I'll name it as test serializable. You can give any name, but I'll be giving it as test serializable. Done? Yeah. So in this project, we create on package now com.cluster, and I'll go with a class called as serialize demo. Done. So then here what I would do is first I'll write my class. Which class? Class A. Okay. Then here I'll have my variables. Int x, instance variables. Int y, int z. Then I'll go with the constructor. I got the constructor. Just I'll put on in SOP inside constructor. So done. So I have written a class. So now what I'll do is I'll create an object of this. Understood? So I'll be creating an object. A is equal to new A. So what is that? 10, 20, 30. I'm creating an object. Yes. And if you want, I can show you the values. This out. Values in A. Object A is so now I'm printing values in object A is, I'll print all the values now. A.x plus tab plus A.y plus t plus A.z. So yeah, I'm printing all the values. See the output? So this object is clearly having state. And what is the state of this object? 10, 20, 30. Done. So when this having state, now what I want to do? I want to convert it into byte stream and write it to a socket. All I'll do is file, okay, output stream is one class I'll be using. Okay, FOS is equal to new file output stream. You have to give a name of a file. What is the argument? You saw that now? What is the argument? File. We have discussed file class in what? IO package. So I have to give one file name now. So what the file name would be, you can give any name. I'll just give it as ABC. You can give any name, that's optional. And the extension what you want to give is, we generally give it as .ser. That's the convention we follow. It's a convention. You can give any extension, but the convention what we follow is .ser. See, all files have an extension. .doc, .txt, understood, .dll, so many formats they have. But as soon as you look at the file, you should know of type what it is. .class, .java. So here the serialized files, generally the convention what we follow is, we give the extension as .ser, means serialized file. Okay, so that's the convention, that's it. Okay, then you can give any name. So once it is done, now I'll do one more thing. I'll create one more. So, but this constructor of file output stream throws an exception. The constructor of, say, unhandled exception, file not found. The constructor throws an exception. If you want, what you can do? file output stream in Java. That's it. You will get the doc. So the constructor, which one I'm using? Yeah, this one. So it throws the exception. Understood? So what I have to do now? I have to handle it now. So I'll just directly write it off. Unhandled exception, quick fix, surround with try catch. See, when you're writing this code, you'll get many exceptions. So blindly I'll handle it with what? Exception. Instead of writing try catch multiple times, I'll handle it with exception. And one more thing, what I do is here. Simply give a message, exception, caught. So to find out which exception, if at all it occurs, which one. Understood? So then next, I'll be using one more object. See, here what happens, one output stream gets created between your program and the file. When you say file output stream, what happens? You're creating one file output stream which connects your program and the file. Okay, then one more stream I'll create. This is called as object output stream. See, this object output stream has the ability to write objects to stream. Object output. Okay, so you can write the objects to stream now. So what you will do, you are chaining two streams here. Object output stream will be chained with what? File output stream. There's something called as stream chaining. Okay, I'll be chaining object output stream with file output stream. All I'll do is object output stream. Okay, some variable name we can take, OOS is equal to new file output object output stream. You have to give an argument now. What I'll give? FOS. This is the argument I'll give. Done. Understood? So I'm chaining the object output stream to this one. So here, if you want, I'll write some comments. The comments would be, I'll take it from the program here only. Create a file output stream, connect. Already I got this program, just I'm copying the comments from there. See, I created a file output stream. Understood? Then I connect the object output stream to file output stream. Okay, so after doing this, everything ready now. All you have to do is, from the object output stream, there is a method called as write object. This object you use, which object you want to serialize and write? A1 no, finish, pass it as an argument. Over. Understood? Okay, I have got A object. Understood? The name of the object is A, so I'll serialize them. But you have to close the resource now. Object output stream dot close. That's it. So program is over. What better can you expect? Understood? So yes. So then here you will serialize and write to file. That's it. And here what you are doing? Closing the resource. Understood how to code? Okay, so done. This program is ready now. So now what I'll do, and I'll write on message. Serialization done. Simply to just find out that whether the serialization has been completed or not. Yes, now say I'll run the program. Concentrate on this program now, the test serializable program. So I'll run this program. Not serializable. Yes, you're getting a problem here, exception. Java.io. Not serializable, exception. Understood? So 1 second, I'll put this here. Yes, okay. The serialization only is not happening, but you're getting the message, okay. You see there. So it was executing this, which one? OS dot, this method, that time it was unable to serialize the object. Means it was not able to convert the object to byte string. It was not able to do it. So for doing it, all I'll do is very simple, nothing to worry. Just say implements serializable over. And serializable interface is there in IO package. Serializable interface is there in IO package. That's it. Finished now. Serialization will be done. And see, I am not implementing any methods of serializable. Why? Last class only I completed. It's a marker interface. So it will get on behavior now. It's an indication to the JVM now. If any class implements serializable, then it is eligible for serialization. It's an indication. See, if any class is implementing clonable, for the JVM can do cloning for it. If any class is implementing serializable, then JVM can serialize it. So like that, one marker interface will have one behavior. So what behavior you want, that marker interface you choose and implement. So automatically your class will get that behavior now. Understood now? So more marker interfaces you'll see and more clear idea you'll get now. So clonable marker interface helps you in cloning. Serializable marker interface helps you in serializing. Understood? So this is how it happens now. So all I'll do is, now see the program carefully. Yes, run as Java application. Yes, serialization is done. And everything is done. But where is the file now? What is the file name I created? abc.ser. Correct? So click on the project, press F5, refresh. Right click also and do it. Refresh. Or there is a shortcut here, F5. Do it. Now you can see abc.ser is here. So let me open this file. See, this is how it looks, a serialized file, which we humans cannot understand. But the state of the object was converted to byte stream and written to this file now, called as abc.ser. It is written now. Done? Okay. Now you might have a question. What is the use of doing this? Yes or no? So now see, program is over. Okay. See, till now if you want to say the state of this object, it was practically impossible. Either is you have to depend on database. This 10, 20, 30 values you have to go and store it in database, because these are values in primary memory. So tomorrow I want the same values, you have to depend on what? Database, a permanent storage. But now see, if I store it to a file also, I have an option to get back the value. So file is also one more alternate to what? Persistence. See, there are many examples for persistence. Okay, persistence is a concept. Now persistence can be done on a file. Persistence can be done on database. Understood? So like this, there are many ways you can persist. Okay, database concept you leave now. So right now what are we trying to do is, database is a totally different concept, leave that now. Okay, serialization is not supporting that concept. Understood? So database, forget it. Now I'm talking about, if you want to say the state of an object, you can write it to a file also. That's what I'm trying to say. Or if you want the values to be stored permanently, because once this program is over, the values are lost. Tomorrow I want the same values in one more object, one more A object I'll create now tomorrow, and I want the same values. That time how will you get the values? Understood? Now it is saved. So what I'll do, I'll write one more program now. In that program what I'll do, read the values from the file. I'll not create a new object. Understood? Read the values from the file and then I'll deserialize. That's all I'll be doing, nothing more. Okay, then automatically you'll get a new object with the same values. See this? So what I'll do, I'll create one more program now. Class, new class, deserialize. Demo. Almost all same style you'll code, nothing much difference here. See, hardly the difference would be just a file. Okay, I'll do it actually. I'll use now file input stream. That's it. File input stream FIS is equal to new file input stream. Which file you want to read? abc.ser. But this method again throws what? Exception. So I'll catch it now. Again I'll catch it with what? Exception E only. Because there are many exceptions which will occur. So instead of catching like that, what I'll do it with catch exception. So done, this is done now. Next. Again I have to create what? Object input stream. So now you have created on file. Same thing now. So you create a file input stream. So now one stream is created between what? a program and file. But this stream is of type what? Input. This file is a, sorry, this stream is a input stream. This stream is an input stream. Then next what I'll do? Object, same reverse process you do now. Object, input stream. Is equal to new object input stream. So I'll take FIS. I'll chain now. This is called as chaining. Your stream, your chaining object input stream is, see, object input stream has the ability to read values from the stream, but you have to link it with the destination. So I'll link this with the file stream. Understood? So that is a different stream, this is a different stream. I'll link both of them. It's chained now. Understood? So next what I'll do is OS dot read object. That's all. This method you do. Return type is of this is object. Okay, it's superclass object. But what I do, I want a object now. So I'll just typecast now. This is a totally different object. Done? And then if I want, I'll print. Second, I'll just copy the print from there itself. Sorry, what is that you're doing? So we'll connect object input stream to file input stream. And finally, what will this method do? Read object, deserialize and read from file. Done. And after that, I have to close the resource. Sorry, okay. Done. I'm closing the resource. So now I'll print values in deserialized object. Values in deserialized object A is, that is a different object gone. I'm not, am I creating a object, new object here? Am I using new keyword? No, see this now. So everything perfect. Now see what happens. I'm getting the values. It is restored. The values which are there in the object. First what did I do? Very simple concept. The concept here what we did is, first there's one program. What is that program name? Serialize demo. What did this program do? You had an A object. Its values were X, Y, Z, 10, 20, 30. What did this program do? It serialized. After serializing, okay, it was saved into a, means one second. Serialization means what? Converting to byte stream. 1010 somewhat it will convert, and then this was written to a file. Which file? abc.ser. So the same content was stored here, whatever it was there. 10, 20, 30, whatever values are there, it will be converted to bytes. From bytes, what it will do? It will save it into a file. Then one more program, another program. What did it do now? Saved. This is persistence now. Understanding what is persistence? You serialized and did what? Saved to a file. Now you'll read from file. So once you read from file, what you will get? Same content. The content will be same now. What is the content of the file? Bytes. So it will be 101010. So you cannot use this now. Again, what you have to do? Deserialize it. So once you deserialize, what you will get? Again object. Which object? A object only. So but I got back the values now. In which program I got? Deserialized. So this is one program. This is another program. So I set the state into one file, and later on if I want I can use it. Understood? So this is the first concept what I am trying to explain. What is that? Serialization helps you in doing persistence. Understood? Are you clear with this concept now? So you'll read from, so you'll serialize and save it to a file. Then what will you do? You'll read from file and, so here you write deserialize. This is deserialization. Understood? So you have to do both serialization and deserialization. That's the first point what you wrote. Serialization is the process of converting state of the object to byte stream. And deserialization is the process of reconstructing an object. Means you are creating one more object. Understood? By reading byte stream. Understood? Fine. But during the process of deserialization, the constructor is not executed. Notice. Did you notice that a new object is created in the second program? That's why I put on SOP in the constructor. The constructor did not get executed. So values in the deserialized object, it will print only what? 10, 20, 30, but it will not execute the constructor. Fine. So now see the output only first, and then we'll come to the next topic. I am running that deserialized demo program. Notice again. So values in deserialized object A is values in deserialized object A is 10, 20, 30. Yes. So then I've used a constructor here. I used a constructor. Did the constructor execute? No. See, I'm serializing, it will execute. There are two programs now. I'm serializing, it will execute. See this again, carefully notice. Understood? But when I deserialize, it will not execute. Done? Okay. Fine. So one more thing. If you are having little doubt about what is SCR, okay, I can name it as .txt also. See this, I'll just show you. You can give any extension. I can give .doc. Any extension I can give. But convention followed is .scr. See, a new file will get created now. Called as what? Exception caught. Sorry, this is the input. So I'm doing it for deserialize. I have to do it first for what? Serialize. I can save this as extension txt also, no issues. So now I run the program, see this. Again, it was serialized and returned to which file now? I'll refresh, now you can see both the files are there. abc.txt is there. So when you're reading, supposingly abc.scr is not there. If I give the extensions .txt, that time you'll have to read from where? .txt file, that's it. Assuming that I have saved it as .txt. But recommended is use .scr because that's the convention we follow worldwide. Understood? So you can give any extension, still the output is the same. There's no difference. Yeah. So let's come up with one topic now. See, what are the different ways? Now this is a very important thing what you have to understand from core Java point of view. Okay. You know, a class is always, a .class file is in the hard disk. From the hard disk it is loaded into the JVM. So there are many ways a class gets loaded into the JVM. There are many ways an object also gets created. So today we'll classify and put the final nail into the coffin. Okay, how many ways can a class be loaded into the JVM and how many ways a new object can be created. Understood? Shall I clear this diagram now? Okay, see, different ways a class can be loaded into JVM. This is one side. Different ways an object can be created. A new object can be created. New means completely different object. New object can be created now. In Java we are talking so let's come with this. What are the different ways a class can be loaded into JVM? First you have to understand there are two ways. One is implicit and explicit. Understood? So implicit loading will happen under three conditions. One is when you use the new keyword. Okay, second one is when you use access static member. Third one is when you use the Java command. And here Java command. But Java command will be used for loading only the first class. Understood? Fine. See here there is one built-in class called as class loader. There is one class called as class loader. This plays a role. So whenever a class is required now, the class called as class loader will load the classes from the hard disk into the JVM. Implicitly, we never use this, don't worry about this now. But if at all I want to load the class explicitly now, okay, I can use for name method of, or I'll write it like this simple. So in the class, you got what? For name method. You have to give what? A string you have to give. Fully qualified class name you have to give. Means the package name and class name. So this is how the classes are loaded, explicitly and implicitly. 4 ways. Still more might be there, but get the idea how classes are getting loaded into JVM. Okay, now let's see what are the different ways a new object can be created now in Java. So yes, can you guess? First one would be what? Yes, the new keyword. So new keyword will do 2 things. One, it loads the class also plus creates the object. Fine. Here you can call required, means invoke required constructor. Whichever constructor you want, you can invoke. Invoke your required constructor. Done. Second way of creating an object is new instance method. This method is present where? Of class. This will invoke what? This will invoke only default constructor. Third way of creating a new object is what? Cloning. Understood? So here which interface will be using? Clonable interface. And here also constructor is not executed. Here constructor is not executed. Remember that. When you do cloning, means you use the clone method now. Clone method. You call the clone, that time constructor is not executed. Fine. The last one is how you can create a new object is through a process called as not serialization, deserialization. So here which interface plays a role? Serializable. And serializable is a marker interface, don't worry. Here also constructor is not invoked. Clear with these 2 things? Different ways the calcs can be loaded into JVM and different ways an object can be created. Be clear with these 2 things. Done? Okay. And the process also you should know now. So when an object is getting created, first class is loaded into JVM. Then static variables are, all these are covered, but just I am revising it. As soon as the class is loaded, static variables are declared and initialized. Then static block executes. Understood? First static variables are declared and initialized, static block executes, then instance variables are declared and initialized, instance block executes, constructor executes, and then the address of the object is assigned to reference variable. So this is the complete process when a new object is getting created for the first time. Understood? For the first time when you create a new object, this complete process will happen. Clear this? But if you are loading only a class, supposingly like this, for name, what will happen? Only static variables are declared and initialized and static block gets executed. If you are loading only the class, static variables are declared and initialized and static block gets executed. Remember this process? Then only all this will be you'll be understanding clearly now in the serialization. So when you use the new keyword, both will happen. Class also is loaded, object also is created. Okay, anyway, that was the basics we had learned in core Java now of our previous classes. So we'll start seeing more programs on serialization now. This is a simple concept covered now. So next all examples I'll start showing you now directly. I showed you how to code now. So these leave it. There's no use of .ser file for us. Okay. Now I'll open the first program. Same it is. There's no difference. In fact, see here, class A implement serializable. I'm having on default constructor as well as argumented constructor. Same program. I'm doing serialization. See, you can do serialization and deserialization where same program also. That's your wish. And look at the file name. I given it as what? hello.scr. You can give any file name. It's not that you have to give ABC, anything you can give. Same thing now. Same program. There's no change. So now I am saying you can do, means I use two separate programs. From now on I'll be using what? Single program only. I show it off to you. Understood? So here this is on A object. This is A1 object. Look that, and serialization. Now understand. We'll always create deep copies of the object. Serialization will always create what? Deep copies of the object. I'll come to that point, but see now, the address of A and A1 will be different. That clearly shows that A is a different object, A1 is a different object. So concentrate on the reference here. Same program, but I put it into a single program, that's it. So value of object A is that address, object A1, the deserialized object is different, but values are same in both the objects. And constructor is executed only one time. For the deserialized object, constructor is not executed. Clear this? Fine. And that program also I kept here, deserialized demo. Both have been kept here. Means first execute this and then do this. Means without serializing, how will you do deserializing? Common point now. So don't directly try to run deserialized program first. Okay, first run serialize and then come to means same program. That's it. Done. It's only deserializing here. But constructor is not getting executed. That's it. So these are the first programs now. Okay, next. So serialization is the process of saying what? State of the object. This is what I told you, yes or no? Yes. Now we'll come to the concept of static variables now. Okay, see, the class might have variables like this. Int x, y, z. 3 now variables it was having. X, y, z. Static variables cannot be serialized. Understood? Because static variables belong to class. Understood? So serialization is the process of what? From the beginning I'm telling you, it's a process of converting state of the object. So only the state of the object can be converted to byte stream, but since static variables belong to class, they are never serialized. They are never serialized. Done. Then next, sometimes you'll be having an instance variable, but you don't want to serialize it. There will be requirements. Okay, sometimes there will be instance variables, but I don't want the value of that to be converted to what? Byte stream. I don't want. I want to skip serialization. That is why Java gives you one more keyword called as transient. Transient is one more keyword in the Java language. So I am introducing you a keyword called as transient today. So transient keyword is used for what? Skipping serialization. Same program, no change. Understood? Only thing is I am showing you the concept of static and transient. Understood? So see this inside constructor, here I written clearly in the doc, static variables cannot be serialized because they belong to class, and transient keyword is used to skip serialization of instance variables. Look at this point, static variables cannot be serialized because they belong to class. Now transient keyword is used to skip serialization of instance variables. Understood? So you decide. If you do not want to convert the state of an object to byte stream, then make it as transient. That's it. Very simple. So inside constructor, let's same program, but here what I am doing, one program again I'll serialize and show you, another program I'll deserialize and show you. Done? See this. See here I have serialized. So inside constructor, and if you want you can access all the values. I didn't print it here, but just I showed you during serialization constructor gets executed. You want to print a.x, a.y, a.z. Definitely all values are here. Understood? Let me print it and show you only. Just I'll add on SOP, nothing else. Confused, okay. So I added on SOP, yes, and let's see now. So values are there. Means here in A it is there, but if you when you serialize it now, see in A object 10 is also there, 20 is also there, 30 is also there. But when you're serializing, the state of that will not be converted to byte stream. It skips for transient. Means I have an A object. In A object, what are the different values? X, Y, Z. Yeah. So you are having X. You are having which one? Okay. Int X is an instance variable. So that will be serialized. Okay. Static int Y. Okay. Then you are having transient int Z. So this is your object, and what are the values in this object now? I have given some values, 10, 20, 30. I have given some values, 10, 20, 30. So once I give the values, so now see, so this is the value, 10 it will be having when the object, static variable will be in stack, okay, this means they belong to the class, but just I am writing it for you, int Z is equal to 30. So you are having 3 values. So when it is serialized, okay, and converted to byte stream, only X value will be converted to what? Byte stream. These two no, because static variables cannot be serialized, and transient keyword is used to skip serialization of instance variables. So only 10 will be only value of 10 value will be serialized and return to what? Byte stream. Only 10 value will be available, or only I'll tell X value. X will be, or X value will be present. Done? Got the point now? This is a very important SCJP question now. Understood? So when you serialize it, this will be skipped. That's the same concept I'm showing you. I've serialized it now. So what I'll do now? I'll try to deserialize. So when I deserialize the new object, what will be the value of X and Y? It is not there now. So another program now. This is serialized demo. So when I deserialize it in deserialized demo, another program. See, this is one program. Understood? It has serialized. Another program will deserialize it, and you are having A object. X is there, Y is there, Z is there. But what will be of X and Y? You are reading a file. See, once you read a file, you will get the byte stream. Yes or no? You will read the file and you will get the byte stream. After reading and getting the byte stream, next obviously what I am going to do is we will do deserialize. Means you write it in one flow, man. I have written it like this. Write it properly. So obviously you get one more object now called as A. It's a totally different object, and it will also have what? X, Y, Z. So X value we know it will be 10. What will be the value of Y and Z? It will have default values. Default value of int is what? 0. Default value of both are int, no? So it will be 0. So if your instance variable is transient, and when it is deserialized, it will have a default value. And static variables also will have default, because here class has been loaded but it has not been initialized. Understood? So that clearly shows that static variables cannot be serialized and transient. Now see, now both variables are not serializable, which are static and transient. But now if anybody questions you, okay, I don't want to serialize a value, so what will I do? Transient or static? What will you say? Transient, you tell. Transient has been specially designed for what? Skipping serialization. Static has been designed for that. Transient has been designed for skipping serialization. So if you want to skip serialization, use transient, don't use static. Static is used for what? Different purpose. If you want to access the members without creating an object, or if you want class level values, then you go for static. So static variables should be used for what? Means, see, supposingly there is one value, I want to share it with multiple objects. There is a single value, I want to share it with multiple objects. So that time you go for static. Understood? Just because you don't want to serialize, now don't use static variables. That time you have to go for what? Transient. Okay. Only concept is static variables cannot be serialized. That's it. Static variables cannot be serialized means, always remember. Clear? Okay. If you don't want to now serialize the value, don't make it as static. Better go for what? Transient. This is a very important thing now. Understood? So you should know when to use static variables, when to use transient variables. Transient variable is used for skipping the serialization of instance variables. Transient variable is used for skipping the serialization of instance variables. So in that case, why do you want to make it a static now? Getting it now? So they have a totally different purpose. Static has got its own purpose, transient has got its own purpose. So use it according to that purpose. Understood? Even though why I am stressing on this point is because both are not going to get serialized now. So whenever you don't want serialization, doesn't mean that you use static. Understood? When you don't want serialization, use transient. And if you want multiple objects to share the same value, then go for static. Done? But both are not eligible for serialization. Okay, fine. Shall I clear this diagram now? Shall we see the output? See the next program in the same thing. Second project, deserialized demo. See, same program, no change, man. I am reading it and I am printing the value of XYZ. Nothing I am doing, just see this. So it will be having default value. Default value of int is 0. If it was boolean, it would have been false. You know the default values of all the variables. Understood? So it will be having the default value. If it is double, it will be 0.0. Yes. If it is user defined data type, null. Excellent. So that's how the transient variables will have the default values. Clear this? Yes. So that comes up with the, shall I clear this now? Diagram? Clear this? See, value of deserialized object is 1000 and here also construct is not executed. Clear? Very simple concept. Okay, then next. 2 programs over. We'll go with the next program now. Okay, serializing user defined data type. See, class A implements serializable. Fine. Now there is one more instance variable of type test. Till now you are serializing what? Primitives. But sometimes your instance variable can be of type what? User defined type. No. This is where it becomes very important now. Understood? So your user defined data type, I am taking only 2 now, I am not taking Z. So X, Y and T, but T is a variable of type what? Test. Okay. Now this is class test. See here. Class test is also there. It is implementing serializable. Int P, int Q. First let's see if I don't implement serializable what happens. Okay. First I'll comment this. So now class A is implementing serializable. Understood? But test is not implementing serializable. But test has been used as an instance variable in class A. Means has a relationship. A has a relationship with test. Understood? So it is used as an instance variable. Fine. So now let's create the object. So see, the constructor of A you observe now. The constructor of A needs what? Needs 2 primitives and 1 test as an argument. So that's what I'll do. First I'll create the test object. What are the values in test object? 5 and 5. That I'll pass it as a reference to the A constructor. Fine. Now test object is also created. A object is also created. Then I'll write to what? One more file you can take. But see, all file names I'm taking same since they are in different projects. Understood? If one more file is there, it will overwrite. So be careful when you do serialization. If you want, you go for a different file name. But since I am having different projects, everywhere I am going on to use what? hello.scr only. Understood? So fine now. So I'll serialize it. It will be written. Okay. Then I'll try to deserialize. Means I'm doing serialization and deserialization in the same program. I'll not have to do programs now. Understood? So I can do it. But the problem is here. Okay. Serialization will not happen. Why? Let's see. Because test is not implementing serializable. So I get the exception. Most important interview question. When do you get not serializable exception? When your class is not implementing serializable and you try to serialize it, you get this exception. When your class is not implementing serializable and you try to serialize it, you get this exception. Very important interview question. When do you get not serializable exception? This class is present in java.io package only. Done? So all I have to do is, if I want, I can do serialization now. Very interesting. So all I'll do is what? Implements serializable. Finished. So it is serialized here, and again the same program what I am doing? Deserializing. Okay. So how will I deserialize? Same man. OS dot read object. So once I read it, what will happen? I am printing now. Value of A and T means I am printing the address. Notice. Value of A address, A object address, and T means the address in T. Then I am creating what? A1 and the address of T in A1. So clearly observe the T in A and the T in A1, the address of T test. Okay, it means it will be referring to two different objects. I will show you the diagram, will be different. That clearly shows that deserialization creates deep copies of the object. They are not referring to the same object. Okay, T here will be referring to two different objects, and afterwards I'll print the values. Values will be same, even though there are two different deep copies of the objects, values will be still the same. First see the output, again I'll draw and show you the diagram. Just see this. Are you clear the program now? Okay, so see this. Only thing what I have done extra is class A implements serializable, class test implements serializable. That's it. Done. See, first the address. This is A object address and this is test in A. This is A1 object address and this is test in A1. The addresses are different now, but values are same. Completely two different objects. So what happened exactly? So let's see it with the diagram only. See, first we created the test object. So you're having test object now. So T, and it is having instance variables as P and Q. The values are 5 and 5. So this test object, it might have some address 150 or something, was passed as an argument to what? A object constructor. Okay, and in A object you're having int x, int y, test t. So x was 10, y is 20, t is referring to what? Because I used a call by reference. I sent it as argument to what? In the A constructor, we sent what? Int x, int y, test t. And we initialized all the three. What all? X is equal to this dot x is equal to, you know how the initialization has happened now? See the code. So this is the constructor of A. So this is A object, right? So these are all the values. This is the constructor of A. Int x comma, int y comma, test t. Fine. It is initialized. So the same address you give, and this will have its own address, something like, I'll name this as 150. This will be 250. So two different objects. So when you serialize now, first the test will be serialized. See now, what is happening is, see, x and y can be directly converted to byte stream. So primitive values will always be converted what? Directly to byte stream. But there is no use of converting a reference value to byte stream now. Yes or no? If you serialize the reference value, address, what is the use of this? With address, what will you do? We want the value in test actually to be serialized. not the reference. So that is why class test also has to implement serializable. So first the inner class will be serialized, which one test. So means if it is implementing serializable, okay, means this is test object now, something like 10001, something like this, it will be serialized. Then which object? A object, x value. So these are PQ values. These are values of P and Q, means converted to byte stream. These are values of what? X and Y, converted to what? Byte stream. So like this, it will be serialized. First the inner object and then the outer object. Like that, this is called as object graph. This is one technical word they use, object graph. So JVM will take care of all this now. It will go on serializing. Okay. Again in test you might have what? One more instance variable of user defined type. Like that, it will go on. Understood? Again, see, here A is having an instance variable of type test. Test can have an instance variable of type, again one more class. Different user defined type. So full graph goes on getting created. And during deserialization, everything will be deserialized perfectly. So when I see this is serialization, you have serialized. This is one program. Next, when you deserialize, what happens? Yes, deep copies, that you understand now. So first test object will be created, PQ, and then this is T. The same address will be given to what now? A now. It will be having int x, int y, test T. So these values will be restored now. P value, Q value, x will be what? 10, y will be 20, and T will be referring to this object. And this is A1 now. So A1.T will give you a different address. So this is deserialization. Both objects will be deserialized. So if your class is having an instance variable of user defined type, then that user defined data type should also be implementing serializable. That's the whole summary here now. Simple concept. So all you have to do is what now? Such a terrific concept. All you are doing is just saying what? Implement serializable, implement serializable. One interface you are using, man. Understood? So that is the power of Java. Hardly we write any code. You want to serialize any state, just say implement serializable. Understood? Automatically it will be converted to byte stream. What? Developer does not have any work only here. So you should only know how to use the library. First, what is your concept? I want to convert the state of an object to byte stream. Fine. Say let your class implement serializable. Over. Now writing to file and all is that is different part of the story. My question is, how do you convert the state of an object to byte stream? Just implement serializable. Hardly 2 letters or 2 words you are writing for that. Understood? So this is the strength of Java library. Getting it now? So are you clear with this diagram now? Okay. Shall I clear? I think I showed you output also. Yes, see here. Yeah, we had class A is implementing serializable, so both should implement. If one is not in, either all or none. Either all the things will be serialized properly or none of them will be serialized. If now test is not, A is not implementing serializable, again same, which one? Not serializable exception. Now A is using test is not implementing serializable, not serializable exception. So this is a rule now. So all classes should implement. But no need to worry about primitives. Primitives by default contain what? Primitive value, and they can be serialized. Only we have to worry about what? User defined type, because T is a reference value and reference values cannot be serialized. So that's why we want the state of T to be serialized, not T. Understood? So it will happen now. So all you do is say implement serializable. Yes, done now. So, but see the deep copies, cloning 2 copies, shallow cloning, deep cloning, but deserialization always deep copy. In cloning, shallow copy also can be created, deep copy also can be created. But in deserialization, always deep copies only. There is no concept of shallow copy here. So it means they are completely independent objects. See here, you got the clear idea now? This is the address of A object, this is the address of A1. This is the address of test in A, this is the address of test in A1. Totally different, but still the values remain same. Fine. Now, the question now, next question. See, supposingly, now this is a class test. It is not implementing serializable. Now what to do? We cannot serialize this now because you get the exception. Yes or no? So you'll tell, if I want to serialize now, I'll go and implement serializable. But you know the rule. What is the rule? You can't modify third person's class. Understood? No? If somebody class is there, he is not implementing serializable now. Now how will you go and make it as implementing serializable? You should not do it. So that is when you will be forced to do what? Transient. This is where transient becomes very important. Understood? You have to skip serialization now. Understood? So now, see, if I try to serialize now, I'll get the exception. What? Not serializable exception. Which class? com.cluster.test will give you the clear idea. This is not serializable. So what you have to do? But at least I want to serialize other values of A, no? Let me serialize other values of A. If it is T is not possible, what will I do now? Simply I'll make it as transient. I want to skip serialization. This is where it becomes important. Now will you make it as static? Understand now. So when to use static, when to use transient. Transient variables is used to skip serialization. Understood? I don't want the T value to be serialized. So I'll just make it as transient. It will skip now. It will not bother only. So fine now. But if you don't serialize it, okay, I mean obviously when you get deserialized, what will be the value of T now? Null. You had already given the answer. Okay. So when the transient variables are deserialized, always they get default values. If it is primitive, they will get int. If it is int and all that, it will get 0. Boolean, it will get false. But if it is user defined type, it will be null. So I'll do it now. See this. And when I try to print the value, see here, a1 dot, these values I'll try to print. a1 dot t dot p, a1 dot t dot q. What will I get? Up till here it will print. I'll get null pointer exception because a1 dot t will be what? Null. a1 dot x it will print. a1 dot y it will print. But a1 dot t dot p will be null. So this pure core Java, what we are seeing here, accessing the members, so null pointer exception. Okay. So if you want to see the value stored in A1, just decouple it. You can do like this. Plus see what I'll do is I'll just print this t dot p and t dot q here. And here I'll print only x and y. X and y it will print in A1, but t will be null. Done? So x and y is 10 and 20. But t value a1 dot t dot p I cannot access because t has been initialized to null. Done? So be careful with the transient variables because they'll be having the default values when they are deserialized. Clear this? Okay. Now you saw all this about serialization. Okay. So the most important means where exactly you'll be using serialization. Okay. See, generally I taught you TOs. In projects, no, you'll be having TOs. What are TO? TOs are user defined transfer objects. Means TO means transfer object. They are user defined value objects. They are used to store, employee like this. So generally all your TOs should implement serializable. Okay. Till whenever you do it, all your class TOs should because they hold state now and we can't lose this. Just this much you understand now. Practically why it is needed, again more information I'll give you. Okay, so all your TOs in your project should implement serializable because it is the TO which will be sent from one JVM to another JVM. See now if I want to send multiple values from one application to another application or from one JVM to another JVM, all those values what will I do? I'll not send one by one. All those values I'll put it into one TO, and TO will be sent via network. So that is the reason in RMI and all that your TO should implement serial. Very clear explanation I'll give you later, but just understand the concept where actually serializable will be used in your projects. Understood? So blindly what you do, all your TO should be implementing now serializable. Done. So it is this TO now. I'm having employee ID, name, phone, email, setter getter methods as usual. Yes, see, this is how a TO gets created. Means you will initialize it. Later on I will serialize it. Then I will deserialize it. Yes or no? Yes. Now carefully observe what are the instance variables I am having. One is int, no problem. String is what? User defined type. Yes or no? It's an instance variable of type what? User defined type. That is why it is implementing what? Serializable. Class string implements serializable. Otherwise your employee wouldn't have been serialized. Understood? So let's see the output first. Yes, from employee E2, this is address, different address. You're getting what? Same values. Means, see here it is the same program. Think broadly, practically. If you are sending values from one JVM to another JVM, another JVM will get the same values. What brilliant mechanism. Hardly you are writing any code. From one JVM you will send it to another JVM and you will get all the values in the other JVM now. So this is how you send multiple values from one JVM to another JVM in RMI. So you'll put it in on TO and send it like this. Are you clear with the concept now? Okay. So this I'll be telling you more in detail when I talk about the next part. Here I'm showing you persistence. The first part we are seeing, and next I'll come to communication. There I explain you this. But this is the reason. See, what will happen is, see, this is one JVM and this is one more JVM. So here you got the employee object. But logic is present in what? Another JVM. If the logic is present in same JVM, fine. But you want to send the values to other JVM now. So what you'll do, this is employee 1. So you can send it via network. So that is why your TO should be implementing serialization. Now sometimes you send one employee, fine. But sometimes you want to send 10 employees. What will you do? You'll put them into collections. Understood? So that is why your collections, all your collections classes are implementing what? Serializable. Understood? So all collection classes will implement what? Serializable interface for this reason. Now imagine if there are 10 employees, in one employee there are 4 values. Just 4 I am talking. Okay. You can still have more values. But again, if I have 10 employees, there are 40 values. And how 40 values you will send from one VM to JVM to other JVM? Imagine. Java will organize all the values and sends it like this. Means first you will use the support of data. First you will use TO. TO will be put into collections. Collections, now you will send it via network. All the values will move, 40 values, and here you will get one more what? When you deserialize, you will get an array list. If I put it in array list, I will get one more array list. In array list, you will get all the 10 employees. It is amazing. The support given to you by Java to play around with values is amazing. So anyway, still we are working with single machine, JVM, single machine. When you start working with 2 JVMs, you will understand this concept. Concept is big, but you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry anything about this. All is going to be very, very simple because only you need what? One output like this and you will start understanding. 2-3 lines, that's it. And thousands, I'm talking 40 value, thousands of values can move via network from one application. Now think as an application. From one application to another application. Brilliant it is. Understood now? So you understood the graphing now, object graph? Array list is implementing serializable. Your TO is implementing serializable. And inside TO your string is implementing serializable. All will be serialized, written and sent via network. Brilliant man. Clear this? Anyway, I'll come back to this concept now. In RMI, I'll explain that in communication. So, but this is the actual reason, means all your TO should implement serializable. Just I told you from the practical point of view. Still more things to go in serialization. We'll come to that point now. Now this is one of the most important interview question in OCJP. OCJP means SCJP exam. Earlier it was Sun certified, in Sun company I was owning it, now it is Oracle certified, that's it. So here you guess the answer now. I am having class A implements serializable. Int x is equal to 10. There is an M1 method. Understood? So when I create the object AA is equal to new A, okay, first X will come to life, yes or no, and it will be initialized with what? 10. Now when I call the method h dot m1 and send a value of 99, so X value is overwritten with what? 99. So now when you serialize, what value will be serialized? 10 or 99? Whatever the state is present, man. 99. Interview question. Very silly it is. But this is where core Java comes into picture. When you create an object, yes or no, X is having a value. See here. AA is equal to new A. X has a value of what? 10. Print it. I am printing as here. Value of object A before M1 method is invoked. A.x what will print? 10. Fine. Now I will call the method M1 and I am sending a value 99. So the value of X is overwritten and the state of A is what now? 99. So now it will serialize 99. Why it will serialize 10? It has already been overwritten. So when you deserialize, what value you will get? 99. That's a very simple concept. Everything is same. Understood? So very tricky questions you'll get on internet, on CJP. So be careful about this. That's why I mentioned the fifth example is exam related. See this. Original object A first when I print when? Here A is equal to new A. There only I am printing. Then I will call M1 method. So when you created the first object, I need space. When you create the first object, X value will be 10. Then I'll call M1 and send 99. M1 orphan, yeah, M1 method is there. So I'll call that. X is equal to T. So when I call A dot M1, what is the value I am sending? So it is overwritten. After that I am serializing. Yes or no? So when you serialize now, so X value is 1010, but it is 99 now. Actual value is 99. So now when you deserialize and reconstruct a new object, so this is A1, address will be different. This is 150, this is 250. But X value will be 90. Understood now? Whatever the state is there, that it will replace it. So in A1 you will not have 10, you will be having 19. So this is serialize again. So at the time of serialization, what was the state in this object? 99. So same state will come back when you deserialize. So slowly tricky questions will come out now. Understood? You understood? But see, these are SCJP related. Practically, why you serialization I already showed you. There you will not go on changing the values. Understood? In TO you will change the value. With great difficulty you store and retain it. There why will you change it? Understood? So that is the practical usage. Now whatever I am showing you, this is only for what? Some extra information. All the examples are for extra information only. Clear? So this is how it works. Clear this? Should I clear this now? So when you deserialize, you will be having X value as 99. So again, okay, just show you this output. See here the class A is implementing serializable. Yes, I explained this program already. It is having it's hard coded here and M1. Understood? So then A is equal to new A dot M1. Done. Serialization will be done and you'll be having the value as. So concentrate on this output finally. Value of object, first object A will be 10. Then it will be in both the objects. It will be what? Both the objects will be 99. Because in A also it is 99. A1 also it is 99. A1 is the deserialized object. 99. This is the value plus address for what? A. This is the value plus address for A1. Done? Last two outputs I told you. Before M1 method was what? 10, and that was the address. So these are all values related to A object. This one, this one, this one. This is when I created the object. This is when I called the M1 method. This is after I serialized. But this is of A object. After serial, that remains as it is. That will not change. Understood? It is only writing it to byte stream. Understood? So then you'll have this. Are you clear this? Yeah. One more thing. When you serialize now, the original object will not be destroyed. It will be there only. Understood? When you serialize, what happens? The original object will be there only. It will be destroyed only when the JVM shuts down. Understood? When the JVM shuts down. See, here A object is there now. You got a object. Once you do the serialization, what happens? It is writing it to byte stream. That's all. And then it will write it to file. But A object is still there. I can use it till the end of program. A object can be used till the end of program. Once the program completes, A object is obviously destroyed. Again, you rerun the program. It's a new A object. Understood? So serialization will not destroy the object. It will only convert the state of the object to byte stream. That's it. So that original object will be remaining as it is. Understood? No? Don't think once you serialize, is what I'm trying to say is, you got A object. It is having values as X, Y, Z. What values it is having? Take the first program. First program I'll take now. So once you serialize this, what you call first program, once you serialize this, doesn't mean that I cannot use A object here. I can use it at a later stage, but only till the program is executing. After that I can't use it. So serialization means, see, this is a different object. You do anything with that, still I can work with what? A.x, A.y, I can continue working. Done? Okay. So one last thing about serialization. Okay, then yeah, this is over now. So always it will save the state of the object. Whatever state, when the, see, your object might get created. When your object got created, it might have a value. Later on, you might have modified the value. And then if you serialize, so obviously the last modified value will be serialized. Simple concept. Done? Okay, this example completes. Then, yes, now it becomes more interesting. We saw serialization with what? Has a relation. So now we'll see serialization with is a relation. Now class A is there, class B is there. Two classes are there, A and B. What are the values? Yeah. So class, I'm just taking one value now, int x. Now class B extends A. Now it becomes interesting. Okay. So my question is, if class A implements serializable, now there are two types of objects you can create. One is A object, one is B object. A object is technically called as what? Superclass object. B object is technically called as what? Subclass object. Now both A object is also serializable, B object is also serializable. Getting the point? Means superclass object and subclass object are eligible for serialization. Superclass object and subclass object are eligible for serialization. Understood? Anyway, this is only important from SCJP point of view. Practically real life, not that much, very much important for us. Understood? So see this, A is equal to new A. So what is the state of A now? Supposingly I am having a constructor, and if I pass 10, supposingly I am having, I write on constructor here. Understood? So then, or I'll write it. Okay, we'll see. So then B is equal to new B, or I'll initialize with dot operator only. If I'm not having it, fine. So A dot x is equal to 10. So A object is there now. So A object will have what? Only one value. Remember that. But if I say B is equal to new B, B will have how many values? Two values. That's the difference between a superclass object and subclass object. So when you serialize A, you will get only one value. But when you serialize B, you will get both the values. X also you can get. When you serialize A and deserialize it, you will get only X. But when you serialize B, you'll get both X also and Y also, because full B object is getting serialized. Full B object. Done with this? Yes. So first I'll show you this output. Okay, then one more concept will come. That we'll see next. First we are going to see what? If superclass implements serializable. Understood? Then superclass object is also serializable. Subclass object is also serializable. Both are serializable. Done? Okay. And again here, understand, constructor is not executed. Understood? I am coming to one point. Okay. So here also constructor will not be executed because both are, means see, if B extends A, it will inherit the properties of A now. Simple, it is inheritance now. Understood? So here also constructor will not get executed. Shall we go with this example now? You see this? Class A is there, it is having int X. Okay. So then you are having class B implements serialize. Okay, first I said class A implements serialize. Superclass is implementing serializable. And first I show you B object, then I'll come to A object. So BB is equal to new B, B dot X, B dot Y. Then I'll serialize it, B object. So when I deserialize B1, what I'll get? Both I'll get. And see, I'm printing values in B also and I'm printing values in B1 also. Address will be different, you know now, deep copies. Okay, but I'll print only the values. B dot X will print 10 and 20, B1 dot X and Y will print 10 and 20. See the output? Understood? So if superclass implements serializable, and that you know now, you don't have to worry. You know how to serialize A now. Till now I was talking about that only, single class. So A is equal to new A, and you give the value A dot X is equal to 10, serialize it, automatically it will get serialized. Till now I was teaching you that only. Okay, the simple class only I was teaching you. So try that. Okay, but class A implements serializable means I am focusing on which class now? Subclass. BB is equal to new B now, B object is serializable. But is B implementing serializable? No, but still it becomes eligible for serialization because it inherits the properties from superclass. Done? So fine, next, very interesting. Again this you know now. Class A is not implementing, this ulta we are going now. Superclass is not implementing what? Serializable. So is A object can be serialized? No, if I try to serialize A, what will I get? Not serializable exception. But definitely what happens now? B object can be serialized. But when you serialize B object, okay, carefully notice what happens. B object will have two values, superclass value and subclass value. The values of superclass will not be serialized because A is not implementing serializable now. Understood? So when the superclass is not implementing serializable and subclass is implementing serializable, the state of superclass will not be serialized. Class B extends A and implements serializable. The values in B will be serialized, means Y will be serialized. I am serializing B now, but X value will not be serialized now. Understood? You should know this. Understood? Only important from SEJP point of view. Practical, no usage. Understood? So this is the hierarchy now. So the values in B will be serialized. So this will not be serialized. And for A now, the constructor will execute. For B it will not execute. But for A, constructor gets executed. For A, only for A, not for B. So means for when you're creating when you serialize a subclass object, and if superclass is not implementing serializable, when you serialize a subclass object and if superclass is not implementing serializable, okay, it will serialize only the values of subclass. That is one point. Second point is the constructor of superclass will be executed. Superclass, not the subclass. Understood? So this is one very important interview question or SCJP question. So see this, can you see the inside A constructor? Is B constructor getting executed? No, see here. A is there. B is there. And deserializing which object? B. When I deserialized, see creating deserialized object. Here is where I am doing it. So after you see this output, creating deserialized object, notice a constructor gets executed. Creating deserialized object. So two things you have to understand when you serialize what? A subclass object. Okay, and you are serializing a subclass object, and if subclass object is having a superclass which is not implementing serializable, that's the case. Means only if subclass is implementing serializable and superclass is not implementing serializable. Two important points are the state of superclass will not be saved. One point. Second point is what? The constructor of superclass will execute. Understood? So these two things you understand now. That's it. So yes. So but by chance, you know, if class A, I'll put it back. Class A is implementing serializable now. Now constructor will not execute and both state you will get. Okay. Creating deserialized object, constructor is executed only once. Okay, so again I'll bring it back here, but this time constructor will be executing. Done? So only in this condition, in deserialization actually constructor will not be executed. In deserialization also constructor is not executed, but only when you are having superclass, subclass like this relationship, only there is a possible chance of the constructor getting executed, provided the superclass is not implementing serializable, only under that condition. But otherwise in deserialization constructor doesn't get executed. This is the only case where during deserialization the constructor might execute, only case. So clear this? And now see one more I show you. Subclass is implementing serializable. This is also interview question. You understood all the concept. Supposingly I am writing x is equal to 99. I will serialize B now. Understood? Now constructor of superclass gets executed now in the deserialized object. So what will be the value of x now? Until now it was 0, but now it will become what? 99. This is your interview question. Very tricky it is. Not interview. Generally in SCJP you will get this. If you want 100 out of 100 in SCJP, concentrate on this. Understood? Means one question will not make you what? 100. You will pass. But if you want 100 out of 100, focus on these examples. Done? Clear this? Okay, not only that, but by chance, if I hard code also, so here your knowledge of core Java becomes very important. How does the subclass object get executed? I thought you know. When the subclass object gets created, what all happens? See, if there are three classes A, B, C, okay, and you are saying C is equal to new C. First A class is loaded, B class is loaded, C class is loaded. Static variables of A are declared and initialized. Static block of A executes. Then static of B, then static of C. Then instance variables of A, then instance variables of B, then instance variables of C, like that. Then constructor. All that you know. Okay. So go refer to that. Then these concepts will start becoming very, very clear to you. But only you have to concentrate from SCJP point of view or OCJP point of view. Understood? Otherwise, practically, all this is not used. In real life programming, practical applications will never have a superclass, subclass. Very rarely that happens. And understood? And yeah, just go through that. Int x is equal to 99. So yes, now you can see in B object when it is deserialized, constructor has got executed. Means when the constructor is running, means again A completely newly it is getting created, and X value will be having what? Whatever you are initialized now, 99. Understood? So this is how it happens. Just go through these two examples, you will get the clear idea. So done now. Again I will comment this also. Yeah. So refer to them. Int X. Okay, sorry. I can't. Just remove it again. Understood? I will get the error. I am accessing X. Fine. So this is about serialization related to persistence. Okay, let's see the doc now related to serialization. Understood? So all the points what I have explained, I have covered here. So go through this. So serialization is a process of converting what? State of an object to byte string. Fine. Then deserialization is a process of reconstructing a new object. Means restoring the bytes into values from the byte string. Deserialization is a reverse process of serialization. Deserialization will always create deep copies of the object. Done? Then only classes that implement java.io can be serialized. If you try to serialize a class that does not implement the serializable interface, not serialized exception will be thrown. Some of the built-in classes which implement serializable interface are string class, wrapper classes, even integer, double class, wrapper classes. They are also implementing serializable because they also hold values now. So they are also implementing serializable, and also collection classes. So whichever class holds values now, you can see Java is itself implementing what? Serializable. Only our TOs we go on implementing serializable. Otherwise, Java's library is brilliant. They know which classes hold the value, and all those classes they are only making what? Serializable. If you write a class which implements serializable, if you write a class which will hold values, then that also make it as implements serializable. Very simple. Understood? So now if you do not want to serialize any data in the object, then declare the field or instance variable as transient. The transient keyword is used to skip serialization of an instance variable. Understand that point. It is used for skipping serialization. Understood? The transient variables, this is because this is a new keyword I am teaching you today. We have covered, there are around 50 keywords in Java now. Some are pending, and this is one of it which is coming out now. Okay. So the transient variable, the keyword transient, okay. The transient variable will be restored as null for object references or default values for primitives. When it is deserialized now, it will be having these values. Now we can't serialize static variables because static variables belong to class and not to object. The next point. We can't serialize static variables. Okay. Now serialization is a process of storing what? State of an object. That's why you can't serialize static variables. Okay. So you should know the difference, why they are not serializable. Difference between static and transient. Fine, next. When a new object is getting created by deserialization, the constructor is not called for that object. Understood? Then next, when a superclass is implementing serializable, then both superclass object and also subclass objects are eligible for serialization. When a superclass is implementing it, both objects are eligible for serialization. But the reverse is not true. That is, when a subclass is implementing serializable interface, then only the subclass objects are eligible for serialization and not the superclass object. If you try to serialize superclass, you'll get what? Serializable exception. Yes, it's a normal class which is not implementing serializable. Fine. Now last, when a superclass is not implementing serializable, this point, the constructor execution I am talking now. When a superclass is not implementing serializable but its subclass is implementing it, then during the deserialization of the subclass object, the constructor of subclass will not be executed, but the constructor of superclass will be executed. None? Okay. Now next, interface serializable. Yes, it's a marker interface and does not contain any members. It should be implemented for classes where serialization is required. Now some points to remember during serialization. Okay, the class has to implement serializable interface, but it's a marker interface. You don't have to override any methods. That's why I highlighted it's a marker interface. If you do not want to save state of an instance variable, then specify it as transient. Understood? Now static variables cannot be serialized. Clear? Then if the class implementing serializable interface is having user defined data as instance variable, then that user defined data should also implement serializable. Done? Yes sir. So we complete, okay. Now serialization is done for three reasons. One is persistence. We covered that. Understood? In depth we covered that. That is for saving the state of an object to a file in the form of bytes. Communication, that is for sending the object via network from one JVM to another JVM. Third reason is for copying. So I completed the first one, persistence, and I shown you all that. Still we'll continue. Okay, the second one I will be talking now called as communication. I'll only explain to you theoretically because here we have to move into RMI now. Okay, right now I'm not concentrating on remote method invocation, I'm concentrating on serialization. So I'll just explain you how actually it will be used in real time. Means how serialization becomes important in real time or in communication. See, generally you'll be having one application now. You see now today we work with some concept called as distributed applications. Today we work on something called as distributed applications. Okay, distributed application means, see, your application can be accessed from any part of the world. There will be a single database. Okay, means today users, means all companies, they want to share data. Okay, means all companies, they want to share the data to their users. Earlier what was happening, the application was shared by a single user, standalone applications. In standalone application what happens? Application and database are kept in the same computer, so only one user can access it. Okay, but today you can see railways application, okay, or bank application, anything, what happens? That can be accessed from, provided you are a legal user, you can access it from wherever you want now. Understood? So supposingly this is your bank application now. This is something called as my bank, some bank it is, State Bank of India or SBI Bank or something like that. So you are having data stored in database now. Now many users can access it. Understood? Provided they are legal, they will be accessing it. So sometimes, see, if you want to withdraw money or transfer money from one account to another account, you will be logging in online, username, password, and you will be interacting directly with the application. Directly, you are user and you are directly interacting. Okay. So this concept is called as web application. This is called as web application. Means that, but in web applications what happens is the users are restricted. Okay, the users are restricted. Only the users of that particular organization can use it. Supposingly I join Infosys and Infosys gives me an application. So only an Infosys member can log into that. Understood? Clear? So some applications will be like that. Next, see, one more scenario will be there. Sometimes, see, again it's the idea of data sharing only, nothing else, data sharing only. But today we want to share the data of this database with another application like railways application or KSRTC, or I want to buy online cinema ticket. Means cinema is on application now. Then railways is on application. Or I want to buy some clothing, means some shoes or something like that. Okay, so there are so many applications now, and all these applications now need the data where now? In this database. Now, is it advisable to expose your database to another application? Now see how you are logging in, same user. Here I am Ravi. Now same Ravi will log in from what? He is logging into some other application, like I am buying online ticket, movie ticket. So it might be a movie application or bank application. Yeah, movie application, or it might be a railways application. Like this I log in. If you want to buy online means you have to log into different www.railways, www.movie, something like that, you log in. So once you log in, here they'll ask you to enter what? Name. Yeah, if you are buying anything online now, they'll ask your account number, password, enter name, enter account number, then enter password, all that information. You are buying something now. So all this they'll collect. Fine. Now with these values, can you interact directly with that database now? That is insecurity. Because if that database is exposed to some other people, what they'll do? They'll take all your money. Understood? So we should not expose it directly. Instead what we do, okay, one second. It might be a movie app, or it can be a railways app, like this. So what you'll do, okay, so this application also will have its own database to maintain their records. But I only want to expose that. So what we do, we'll not give that expose directly. Here there will be a method. Understood? Like M1 means like withdraw. Some method you will have, withdraw or something like that. And it will be like customer. One TO will create now, customer C. One TO will create, class customer will have what? 3 fields, ID, name, password, how much you want. So when the request comes, you will create one customer object here. With what values? Name, account number, password, all the values you will do it. And you will do the remote method invocation. You will call where is the method now? It is not in your machine. So obviously you have to call a method present in some other machine. So somehow you will do it. Means all this hardly 2-3 lines of code, you don't have to worry, it's not a big subject. But when you are developing applications, these are the various problems which occur, which we face, developers face. And for all this Java gives what? Excellent library. Means see, till now you are thinking what? You wanted to write logic. And I was telling you there's nothing in the world to write logic. All logics are ready-made. Only we have to concentrate on what now? Domain logic. Understood? So that's what I'm trying to show you now. So when the request comes now, you'll put them into a TO and this TO will be sent via network now. So here it will be deserialized. Here you'll be doing what now? Serialization. So if your class customer implements, see, class customer will be something like this. Implements, because you want to send it via network. Otherwise, object cannot move via network, no. Object is memory. How can memory go on network? So instead of that, what we do? Int. So if I am having ID fine, name string name, then int account number will take. Account number, int account number, string name, string password, and you'll have segregators. Then now this is how your TO looks. Fill all the values. This application will fill all the values. It will invoke that method. What it will invoke? H dot or something. It will be there in some object. So it will invoke that method and send that customer. So now this object will be serialized. See, it will be serialized. It will be, see here it will get serialized. This is serialization. I'm not having space, understand. This object will be serialized and written via network. Now it will start moving. So once it comes here, what happens? It will be deserialized. And this C object will be referring to this. It will be having ID, name, everything will be values. Understood now? So when the request comes, understood? So you'll fill the values into the TO. The TO will be sent via network now. Okay, and here it will be deserialized. So this is what happens in company now. Today we are into this trend of developing applications. So you want to join companies, you want to work in companies. Understood? But you know what is your condition? As a fresher you want to go and work in the company and such a big concept is there and you want to be a developer, means how will you become a developer? So that's why I keep telling you always, before you join company it is prerequisite to what? Undergo sophisticated trainings. Otherwise it's very difficult to code there. You will start struggling. But concepts are very simple. Only reason why you struggle is you are not aware, because there is a huge gap between what you learnt in college and what is actually required in the industry. That gap is there. We are only bridging the gap now. Understood? Anyway, the whole subject forget. All I will do is what now? Implement serializable. So this is what in RMI, in remote method invocation, okay, serialization plays a big role. Very big role it plays. Understood? In RMI, serialization plays a very big role and it helps you to send object. This is byte stream. Are you getting it now? Diagram clear? So in the object what will happen? It will move via network and here it will be, you have got the object now. That will be deserialized and C will refer to this and here you will call the getters. C dot getter. You get all the values. With those values what will you do? You will hit the database. So restricted access you are giving. You have to come to this application and this application only will interact with the database. So these are called as distributed applications. So distributed application means what? Application of one organization. An application of one organization will interact with an application of another organization. So this is how you develop it. Are you clear this? So that's theoretically I have explained to you about what? In communication, how serialization plays an important role. Okay. So So just theoretically I have written it. More we'll be seeing when I teach you RMI and web service. There are some technologies. If you want to develop such applications now, use some technologies called as web service, EJB. There all this becomes important. So see, you plan to learn advanced technologies like what? EJB, web service and all that. So if you want to learn all these advanced technologies, prerequisite knowledge for these technologies is what? Core Java. Unfortunately, people are not realizing that. They directly say I want to learn web service, they directly say I want to learn web EJB. But without this, because in web service we start explaining what? Serialization, deserialization, that's where they fail. Done? So this is the whole subject. Later on you'll see how serialization becomes very, very important. Big concept. Okay, I mean this serialization is such a huge concept. Okay, like the amount of days required to learn serialization is only so much. But what you have to understand is, in spite of that hugeness, Java has reduced it into a simple marker interface. All you are going to say is what? Implements serializable. Rest all, just observe how it is working. You don't bother about doing anything big now. Just you say implement serializable and all that will start happening for you. So understood now the support of the library? Yes. So I'll just give you some notes on serialization, communication. At some later point of view you'll start understanding it. Okay, and anyway, this is the example for persistence. I have same copied and pasted. Which one? In the document I just copied and pasted the first example, nothing else. For persistence. Same, nothing else. Here I am serializing and here I am deserializing as communication now. That is for sending the object via network from one JVM to another JVM. Remote method invocation allows a Java object on one machine to invoke a method of a Java object on a different machine. The RMI provides remote communication between two different applications. In the case of RMI or in distributed computing, you may get a chance to pass data from one machine to other machine, that is from one JVM to another. This data can be primitive or user defined data. It can be primitive or user defined data. So when you are passing the primitive data from one machine to other machine, then call by value, same value will be passed if you are passing what? Primitives. But when you are passing the object, there is no use of sending address now. What will the other JVM do with your address? Means generally in our local JVMs what happens? If I say h.m1 and send an argument of type, any user defined type, call by reference will happen. But in a remote method, there is no use of sending that reference. So when passing the object, the call by reference is used and address has to be copied from one JVM to another JVM, but there is no use of passing the address. So you need a different mechanism to pass that object from one JVM to another JVM. For this we can use serialization and deserialization mechanism. Understood? So serialization is needed to implement remote method invocation. RMI allows a Java object on one machine to invoke a method of Java object on a different machine. An object may be supplied as an argument. An object may be supplied as an argument to that remote method. The sending machine serializes the object and transmits it. The receiving machine deserializes it. Understood? And serialization is a mechanism used by RMI to pass objects between JVM, either as arguments in a method or as return type. Means if I want to send value from now server to client, client to server argument, server to client return type now. So in that case, you might have to implement serializable. So whatever values you want to put now, not only one customer, you want to send 10 customers, fine. What will you do? All 10 customers you can send via network. How? Put it into array list, linked list, whichever data structure you want. So how neatly you organize, and just you will say what? Means you will send the data from one machine to another machine. All the values will go there, and when the values go from this JVM to that JVM, all the values are present in primary memory and in a well organized manner. Even though I send 40 values, 50 values, how they are present? In collections. In collections they have been stored in TOs. Clearly you can access by iteration. Get, whichever value you want, you can start accessing, and you know how to work with collections now. So that's how it becomes very important now. So that's why all your collection classes implement serializable. If you are having the question why in that point was highlighted every collection document, all collections implement serializable, all collections, this is the reason. Understood? Now copying is used for copying the storing values in memory. Means you'll copy and means you'll create on deserialized copy, and then you can go on creating what? Duplicate objects. This very rarely used, leave it off. But just I'm telling you, serialization is used for three purposes. One, persistence. Second, communication. Third one is copying. Done. Clear this? Fine. We'll see one more topic called as externalization. Understood? We'll see one more topic called as externalization. To support externalization, this is a new topic now. Understood? To support externalization, there's an interface called as externalizable. Understood? So there's an interface called as externalizable. Very simple concept, nothing big. So it's like this. Interface serializable is there now. It is a marker interface. Interface externalizable is extending serializable. That's all. It is a sub interface. It is a sub interface. Externalizable is a sub interface of serializable, nothing else. And it is having two methods. See that? Which are the two methods? Read external, object input, in write external. There are two methods. That's it. Okay, so it's an interface. It is a sub interface now. Okay, externalizable is extending what? Serializable. In serializable there are no methods, but in externalizable you are having two methods. So serializable is a marker interface, but externalizable is not a marker interface. And remember that. Why? Because it is having methods now. Marker interfaces do not have what? Methods. Okay. So it's a very simple concept. See, if you implement serializable, the process of serialization was taken care by whom now? JVM. But sometimes I don't want the JVM to participate in serialization. I want to do, means developer wants to do serialization. You can do this. Very simple concept. So what you do? Your classes will implement externalizable and override this method. So here what will you do in write external? You will write the logic to, you have to write logic now to convert it into byte stream. Understood? So that is when you use this method in out object, out dot. There are some methods I'll show you. If you just call it, automatically that value will be serialized now. Similarly, when you do, when the object, see, this will execute when you serialize. This method will execute when you serialize. Okay, this method will execute when you serialize. Which method? Write external. Now this method will execute when you deserialize. That's all you understand. Nothing more. Implicitly, this method will execute when you deserialize. That's it. Same concept. Okay. Nothing big. Only that method will be executed. Should I clear this now? You should know when that method is called. Read external is invoked when the deserialization is happening. Implicitly it will be called. Write external will be executed when the serialization is happening. That's it. Yeah, see some document here, 2-3 points, then we will go. See externalization, or I'll go with the output first, then we'll come to this document. Yeah, see this. 7th example I'm moving to externalizable. Very simple. Class test is there. Fine. Class A is implementing. I show you in a single example only. This is also there in SCJP. Okay, these two methods, read external, write external, is there in SCJP. Now I'm covering it. Class A implements externalizable now. Same, you know now. Class A is having what now? Two instance variables. Test has a relationship. Everything same. Only I'm overriding two methods now. What methods? Write external, read external. Right now I have commented everything. So now when you serialize now, this method will be called. Okay, and it will try to use your logic. But if you have not written the logic for serialization, it will not be serialized only. If you have not written the logic, so earlier if you implement serializable, what happens? It was automatically getting serialized. But now you have to write the logic. I show you how to write the logic. It's very simple. See this. So just see the method is getting invoked. That's all you see. Everything same. I just put on SOP using write external method, read external method. Everything same. I have created test object, A object, everything same, and I am trying to serialize and deserialize. Okay. Let's see the output. Exception will occur. See, write external method during serialization. Okay, so creating deserialized object. Okay, see, remember when you implement externalizable now, always the default constructor gets executed. Here constructor is executed. In serializable interface it is not executed. But if you implement externalizable, default constructor will be executed. Guaranteed it is executed. Okay, so anyway that is executed, but find the, see here, in that second object, a constructor is called the deserialized object. Read external also is called. Okay, and see these are the values of A object 10, 20, 5, 5. In A you are having, but in deserialized object there are no values. Why? It was never serialized. It is your duty to serialize now. So that is why these are values of what? X and Y. A1 dot X, A1 dot Y. These are A and X and Y values. A1 dot T dot P, null pointer exception. A1 dot T is null pointer exception. See the program carefully. Everything same, no change. Understood? So here value of object A is, it was printing all the values. All the values. A1 dot X, what it was printing? 0. A1 dot Y is 0. But A1 dot T dot P is null pointer exception. Done? Null pointer exception. So this is output what you saw now. Apart from these three output, see, these are the three outputs what you were expecting. The other output are coming from where? Read external method, write external method. Did I call it? It is called what? Implicitly. So during deserialization, which method is, sorry, during serialization, which method is called? Write external. When I say write object, okay, here write external method is called write external method is called. When I say read object, read external is called. When it was not serialized only, what it will read now? Understood? So that's why you are getting 0, 0 null pointer exception. Now I'll serialize. Very simple. See this. So first you have to serialize now, then only you can do deserialize. Or what am I doing? Out dot, there are some methods in this object output. Write int, write double, so many methods are there. Go through. So depending on your type of value, you'll go on serializing. So what values you want to serialize now? You decide. I want to serialize 4 values. Yes. Which are the values? X, Y, and P and Q in what? P. Right. You have to serialize. Similarly, you have to do what? Deserialize. See, I am only serializing this time. Still I have not deserialized. Still I will get what? 0, 0 null only. Now I will deserialize. Yes. What am I saying? Read int. But remember, here in what order you have written now? Same order you have to do. So when I say int dot read, I should not give that value to what? Y. So first read int, I should give it to what? X only. Second read int, I should give it to Y only. In the same order values will be coming out. Understood? Supposing if I initialize, okay, see this output. Int dot read. So in the same order. And once I get the two values, M and N. Now what will I do? T object I am creating. With what value? M and N value. So fully you have to take care. You have to create a new T object and put values of those two things now. Completely you have to take care now. Understood? So anyway, this is one concept. Go through this. That's all. Nothing else. Now the same program, only we are doing what? Serialization and deserialization. So complete control is under developer now. So everything works perfect. Understood? Everything works perfect here. Are you clear this? Yeah, now same program, again ditto, 8th program, there is no change. Now you will understand why that becomes important. Supposingly my variables are transient. Till now what you are doing? Skipping serialization now. But if you want the object now, state, what will you do? See, one is I can't go and modify it to, this is somebody's class. How will I go and make it as implement serializable? Is it allowed? I cannot say implement serializable for what? Test. So I'll be forced to do what? So you have to import it. Understood? I have to do this. But unfortunately this class has not been written by whom? Me. Somebody's class. Now how will I serialize it? I can't. So if I try to serialize test, now what will happen? Serializable exception will come. So to avoid that, what I am doing? Transient. Yes or no? But when I deserialize, what will be the value of t? Null, no? Yes or no? Primitives you leave now. Don't focus on primitives. Concentrate transient with user defined type. Understood? In fact I am making x and y also transient, but concentrate on t getting transient. So fine, I'll do it. So now it becomes important. Right external, what will I do? If I save the state of test during deserialization, I can get back the same code. There is no change, only I showed you by making it as transient. There is no, am I changing the code anything here? No. So when your variables are transient, that time externalizable becomes very helpful to you. Understood? When your user defined data is transient, there is no possible chance now. You can't go and make that class implement serializable. So that's why what you will do, from your class you will get one by one the value. Which value? P value. Save, serialize. Q value, serialize. So from test one by one I will take the value, whatever you want to serialize, and then you serialize it. Later on you deserialize it. Such a simple concept. So here, see, in externalization now, developer has the option. It's not that, see, sometimes you might, there are more options, not only this. In transient it will become helpful. Okay, that is one thing. Now next thing, if there are 10, now out of 10 I want only 8 to be serialized. So I can go with what? Externalizable. So your options here, which one you want you can serialize, which one you want you can leave it off. That's it. But remember, when you are serializing, okay, and deserializing, the order is very important. In what order you serialize, in the same order you have to deserialize. That's all about externalization, nothing more. Okay, so this is some concept now. Okay, just I have added transient in this next program. Nothing more I have done, just to make you understand how you can reinitialize the state of transient variables. With the help of externalizable, you can do it. Done? So now see, same output, no change. There is no change, hardly any change. I made it as transient. Okay, now the document on externalizable and externalization. Definite interview question, difference between serializable and externalizable. I'll come to that point. So first keep that in mind and start seeing notes. Externalization is a serialization process where complete serialization will be under developer's control. We'll be controlling it. In serialization, JVM will completely take control of serializing the object with its own logic and will try to serialize all the instance variables present in the object. All instance variables it will serialize. Understood? Here your option, which one you want to serialize, which one you want, leave it off. Like example, I don't want to serialize Y. Fine, comment it off. Means remove it off. Your option. But in serialization what happens? All values will be tried to serialized. Next. So you're externalizing an object, developer has to serialize all the values explicitly. Note the point. When you're externalizing, first of all understand externalization is also nothing but serialization only. Externalization is nothing but serialization only, but serialization control is under developer. So again the same word we will repeat now. Serialization, serialization. Understood? Fine. So in serialization completed, okay, when you are externalizing an object, developer has to serialize all the values explicitly. He can also decide which instance variables he wants to serialize or not. For this process, one interface is there. This is this one now. I just showed you this interface. It is not a marker interface. I told you, because marker interface always have what? No members. Since it's having two members, it's not a marker interface. The write external method is used for serializing the required instance serials. Yes or no? And also, okay, also during serialization, you can apply encryption logic or compression logic also. That's the advantage. Sometimes you want to apply what? Encryption logic. See, once you have got the file now, see this file is there now. Which file? After serializing, you are getting this file, .ser file. But anybody can deserialize it. If they write a program now, anybody can deserialize it. What program they will write? File input stream is equal to new file input stream. Object input stream is equal to that file they'll tell, and they can read the values. Even though it is not understandable in the human eye, but definitely you can restore the values. But I don't want that to happen. So that time what I can do? I can apply some encryption logic, or if you want to reduce the size, you can apply some compression logic. Any logic like that you can write. But don't worry about those sophisticated things now. Just understand, in externalization, complete serialization process is under developer's control. Done? Okay, fine. Now the read external method is used for deserializing the values. This method can be also used for writing the decryption logic. Means what you have written there, same ulta you write here. Otherwise you never get the value. Understood? Which gets applied during deserialization. Now externalization always needs a default public construct. It needs. Just I'll show you here. This is the last example, 8th example I'm going, and I'm showing you public constructor. Or anything you take, I'll comment this. It will not work now. So in externalization, you need what? Default only. First that will be called, and then read external will be called. First the object gets executed, created by calling the default constructor, and then in deserialization I'm telling. In deserialization, first the object will be called by invoking the default constructor, and then read external will happen. Understood? I'll explain that process to you. So that's why you are right. Understood? See, sometimes you'll write constructor, but it will not be public. Still it will not execute. Be careful when you do externalizable. Done? So that was the point. Externalization is really helpful when you want to serialize transient variables. And also when you want to apply encryption, decryption, anything like that. Okay, fine. Now explain how externalization works. Very simple, 2 points. First it checks whether the interface is implementing externalizable interface when you are serializing. Then serializes the object by using what? Write external method. That's all. One first step. When an externalizable is reconstructed, first an instance is created by using what? Public no argument constructor, and then read external method is called. First, this is deserialization. That is serialization. 2 points over. So first default construct will be called, and then read external method will be invoked. Same program I copied and pasted, nothing else. Done? A very important subject. The importance of this theoretically I have told you. Okay, but the real importance you'll understand when you start developing applications. This is theory concept, and this will be applied as you go on developing your projects or applications. Finally, in our project, very simple, I'm telling you, one line, all your TOs will implement serializable. We don't bother about externalizable also. Practical I'm talking. Okay, very rarest of the rare conditions we talk about externalizable. 99.99% according to my experience, we always depend on serializable. But why I covered externalizable is from the SCJP point of view. And just to show you the power or support Java gives you, what Java gives you for doing the process of serialization. Done? Okay. So this completes serialization and externalization. For serialization is supported with serializable interface. Externalization is supported with externalizable interface. In serialization, no need to override any method. But in externalizable, you have to override 2 methods. The differences. Okay, so you should know what is the difference between externalizable and serializable. That I have not put it in the document right now to show you, but when the document is released, I will be putting the differences between externalizable and serializable and give it to you. You can copy it from the document itself. Understood? So only one table I have to write. Difference between externalizable and serializable, or externalization and serialization. Very simple. Okay. Some of the differences just to make you understand. interface serializable is marker. This is not a marker. There you don't have to override any method. Here you can override. You have to override. You have to override two methods. There JVM takes control of serialization. Here developer takes control of serialization. Done. And here you can apply encryption compression logic. There you cannot do anything. You have to depend solely on the Java support. Understood? These are the few. There serialization is happening implicitly. Here developer has to do the serialization. These are some of the few differences, but I'll put it in a table and give it to you. You can write it from the document very neatly. Clear? Okay. So this completes the subject of serialization and deserialization. That's it.